I know that.
No, it's fall. CEO got on the elevator with me. They should have. Tell me what to do. I make more money. He went, look, he went, oh my God. Like a long meeting.
We have about 30 seconds.
Calls, I get calls. Oh, yeah. They're just pissing up a rope.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. The Jefferson County Board meeting, September 10th, 2024. Roll call by the county clerk. Oh, I'm here.
You have to be.
We have 26 present and 4 absent.
Thank you. Can we have, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Lund, would you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just take a moment. Thank you. Please be seated. In compliance with open meetings law, Mr.
Yes,
Waymire?
Mr. Chair.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Backlund, second by Mr. Jekyll. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Approval of the August 12th, 2024 meeting minutes. Mr. Winnicky.
I would move approval of the August 12th, 2024 minutes as presented.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Winnicky. Who seconded? Mr. Paulson. Did anybody else catch any errors or anything else? Seeing none, all in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Communications.
You should see your treasurer's monthly report. And then the zoning committee notice of public hearing is September 19th, 2024, starting at 7 p.m. Thank you.
That takes us to public comment on agenda items. Is there any public comment on items on tonight's agenda? There is none. That will move us to special order of business. Mr. Waymire.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I tonight have the honor to present to you resolution number 2024-32. And before I go with this, is just we get to recognize the presiding judge, William Hugh. Judge Hugh and I got to be really close probably the last 3 years as we've looked through the construction project to how the courts are organized. And we spent some quality time together, Judge, of how we look at the best interest of the county and how to move things forward. So tonight I get the honor to read this on behalf of the county. Resolution number 2024-32, recognizing William F. Hugh upon his retirement. Whereas the Honorable William F. Hugh was first elected to Branch 2 of the Jefferson County Circuit Court in 1995, a seat he held until his retirement in July of 2024. And whereas Judge Hugh served the citizens of Jefferson County and the Wisconsin judicial system with dedication, fairness, and integrity for 29 years. And whereas Judge Hugh has served as the presiding judge for Jefferson County from December 21st, 2016 until his retirement, and served as deputy chief judge for the 3rd District from 2018 to 2021. And whereas Judge Hugh has served on many judicial groups and committees and contributed to improving the judicial system and making it more efficient and accessible for citizens of Jefferson County. And whereas Judge Hugh was admired for his vast knowledge of the law, coupled with his exceptional ability to dissect and scrutinize the most complex legal issues. And whereas Judge Hugh treated all those who came before him with dignity and respect, and he never lost sight of the real-world implications of his decisions. Now, therefore, we resolve the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors hereby recognizes Judge Hughes' legacy of service to Jefferson County and the state judiciary. We express its deepest appreciation for his unwavering dedication and commitment to the citizens of Jefferson County and wishes him the best in all well-earned retirement. I respectfully request confirmation and approval of said resolution.
I have a motion by Mr. Morris. Do I have a second? Second by Meg Turbo Heights. All in favor of this resolution, say aye. Aye. Opposed? He's still back there. Okay.
So as part of tonight, I would like to invite the Honorable Judge William Hugh up, along with Mike Nyman. Mike is the Third District Court District Administrator for our area, working with the Chief Judge for our district. So he'd like to come up and say a few words as well and do a presentation as well. So Mike and Judge Hugh, please come up.
Thank you. It is really, really an honor to be here. It is also really special to witness a judge being recognized by the county for his efforts. This is a special place. Jefferson County is a special place, and it does things right. I'm very fortunate to have worked with Judge Hugh for 26 years, and I've had the honor of being with him when he's a circuit court judge, but also as a presiding judge. And as Ben had said, he is very smart. Legally off the charts smart. And you want that in a judge. But I've met and have been with a lot of smart judges. It's when they become leaders that's where the interesting part comes, and for Judge Hugh, that's where that separation is. He really cares about Jefferson County, and he cares about the citizens, he cares about the government, he cares about the litigants, and that was really something to watch, especially as a presiding judge. You had a lot of challenges over the last at least 5 to 6 years, and I know that he had your best interest in it. I know that he gave it all. Legend even has it he swam across the river to get to court when the river was blocking the street. So you could tell he's somebody that gives it all. And so I know the citizens of Jefferson have benefited from him. I know the judges, the clerk of court, the commissioners, they all have benefited from him, and county government. And I know that the state of Wisconsin citizens and the Supreme Court have. So they wanted to recognize you, our Wisconsin Supreme Court, with a plaque. The Supreme Court of Wisconsin to the Honorable William F. Hugh, in recognition and appreciation of 29 years of valued services rendered to this court and to the citizens of the state of Wisconsin as Circuit Court Judge in Jefferson County, dated this day, signed by Chief Justice Ziegler on behalf of the entire court.
I want to thank the Supreme Court for the plaque. Third Judicial District Administrator Mike Nyman has presented quite a few of these throughout the years. And seriously, Mike, they should give you one right now and not wait for you to retire. Mike has been an invaluable resource, and he's always willing to help us no matter what is needed. He has been a colleague and a friend to me. Thank you, Mike, for everything. I appreciate our county board and this resolution honoring me, but it's you, the board, that should be honored. Laura and I came to Jefferson when I was hired as a judicial clerk in 1983. Judge Schumann, Eberhard, and Danforth were here, and Ken Chopin was the clerk of courts, Shirley Herod, the register and probate. From that time to 1995, when I was first elected, to 2019, when I became presiding judge, to now, the county board has supported the judiciary from a physical setting in 2 courtroom remodels and 1 partial remodel,
to safety, a secured entry, and a judge parking, to technology in the courtroom and hearing room, analog to digital, to what is now the most modern and amongst the most well-equipped and versatile in the state, the county board has been our partner in doing justice for our citizens. Thank you. Ben Waymeyer and I have been working together since I became presiding judge. He's smart, steadfast in his guardianship of the interest of the board and our citizens. I trust him implicitly, and I'll miss working with him. Thank you, Ben. My personal staff throughout the years have been tremendous. Karen Smith and Kim Vetker as judicial assistants, and seeing Kim grow into her supervisory role has been a highlight. And reporters Nancy Weaver, Sandy Taylor, and for about a hot minute at the end, Kayla Nelson. My career, such as it is, has been vastly better because of their help. Thank you, Karen, Nancy, Kim, Sandy, and Kayla. My early mentors, Judge Olsvik and Irwin, and each of my colleagues throughout the years, including my most recent colleagues, all of whom are here, and I thank them for that, Judge Gruber, Judge Deering, and Judge Brantmeyer. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experiences and for your camaraderie and dedication to justice. To staff here in Jefferson County, every one of them, from 1995 to 2024. Be proud of your service to the public and to the court. You're the best, and thank you. Commissioner and Register and Probate Jennifer Weber has helped me more than anyone throughout the years. Jefferson is better because you serve so well, Webb. I was a better judge and a better person because of you. Thank you. Finally, I'm proud to have served the justice system, litigants, lawyers, citizens here in Jefferson County. Correspondingly, their support has also made me a better judge and a better man. It's been a nice career, and I hope I've made you proud. My heart is full, and I am grateful. For the final time, this judge is in recess. Good night and goodbye.
Thank you, Judge Hugh, for your service. We certainly appreciate it. This takes us to item number 2, strategic plan quarterly update. Mr. Mike Suk. Okay.
All right, I'll get started quickly and then we can move that window. Okay. All right, so the first thing I would like to show off was built by Oral Rowland, the programmer at MIS, which I think is outstanding, shows off his talent, what we have, and is going to continue to be a benefit for us as we track our strategic plans. So what you're looking at is the unpublished but nearly finalized dashboard, both the public-facing and internally-facing aspects of the strategic plan dashboard. This will allow us to do is show in real time members of the public where we are at with the implementation plan. And as you'll remember, the board adopted a strategic plan that had 4 priority areas: diverse housing opportunities, highly regarded quality of life, intentional economic growth, and transformative government. Underneath those, there was anywhere between 3 to 5 goals, and each goal had anywhere between 3 to potentially 7 objectives. So to accomplish those objectives that were set forward by the board by policy, these 4 teams have been meeting to create action steps and different deadlines, projects, policies, initiatives, funding mechanisms, things that we can present back to the board or accomplish at a staff level to move all of these forward. So what the public will see, And I will welcome feedback. I was just reminded that this isn't actually live yet, and so we still have a chance to change it. But what the public will see is kind of what you see on your screen now, and can click into, say, diverse housing opportunities, which will show us our goal, show us all of our objectives, and then let us know whether we're on schedule, what our current progress is, etc. We will need to fine-tune some of the quantitative measures in this because perhaps a thumbs up or percentage bar might not be the best way to demonstrate our progress. Maybe different types of visualizations like graphs or pie charts or things like that might help. But members of the public will be able to look into this and then potentially, again, still trying to decide what the final version of this looks like, we'll be able to see what notes and action steps are leading towards this progress measure. So for instance, under revise existing housing policies and adopt new policies that are flexible, inviting, and open to attract diverse housing, we accomplished, before the August 1st deadline, identifying ideal policies such as those from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities model policies for housing development. So this is what the public will see. On the back end, we also have these 4 areas broken down, but in a different way, an editable way that we can move away from any type of spreadsheet or kind of extraneous tracking mechanism, and we're able to build directly into this dashboard that will then pull directly into the public-facing side of it. So, for instance, again, in diverse housing opportunities, under Goal 1, Objective 1, we have all of the action steps that were identified by team members. And team leads and myself have the ability to edit directly in here, which again will pull directly into the public-facing dashboard. So you can click and expand, and you'll see that each one of these has a staff member, either by name or by email, associated with it. And those are the people who are responsible at the end of the day for making sure that these are done. So you can actually then filter, again, the diverse housing opportunities team. Let's say here's all the ones that Michael Lucky is responsible for. And I can click in and see my deadlines, what my notes are, what my resources are for all of the objectives that I have. Next steps, we're also going to look at identifying an automated email system to be able to track. So every month, I would get an email directly from this saying, Michael, reminder, here are the deadlines that are coming up, and here are all of the objectives that you're responsible for. For people who might transcend multiple different priority areas, we are able to get the entire plan on one page, and then view, for instance, Deb Reinbold is on multiple teams, so we can filter for her, and look, these are the different areas where she has a responsibility, both in intentional economic growth and diverse housing opportunities. So there is still some finalization needs to get done to this. I would welcome any feedback you might have, but that is what we're looking at for presenting both internally and externally our progress in our strategic plan. In terms of the actual work that's getting done, we are making progress in our action steps. For example, just last week, Julie Oliver at Economic Development created an online forum that allows people to query and request economic development data points, both at a countywide level and for each individual municipality, as they might be looking for site selection criteria, expansion criteria, things like that. We're also moving forward with a plan through its marketing aspect under highly regarded quality of life by engaging with a PR consultant. We are, through transformative government, working on our green energy initiatives by issuing an RFP now for an energy audit to come through and look at all of the energy systems within Jefferson County and provide some types of renewable opportunities and cost-saving measures like sealing up windows. We are planning a legislative breakfast as part of transformative government for December to bring elected officials from municipalities, this body, and state level together. And so we are making some progress. However, summer's been slow. One of the difficulties we've faced has been just convening teams has been difficult. In the summer, we'll try and identify weeks where we can get everyone together, and a lot of times you'd have 2 or 3 key players on each team missing every week just because of vacations and meetings and things like that. So we are continuing to move forward with that. We have a number of meetings scheduled for September and October already on the books, so hopefully that problem will resolve itself. And especially now that we have this great dashboard, we'll be able to kind of track it and make sure work is being done between those meetings in a more efficient way. You probably also noticed in your packet, in accordance with board rules, we have added strategic plan references to all of our ordinances and resolutions. So as you look at the resolution below fiscal note, you will see both the icon and a description of how they tie into the strategic plan, if there is any tie-in. I would also welcome feedback. I'm the one adding those, so some department heads have been great about emailing me specific links that they might propose, but as committees work through the committee procedure, if you identify any specific ties to the strategic plan, I would welcome that feedback. And finally, we completed priority-based budgeting. A number of people took part on some of the peer review teams. And of those 6 review criteria areas, 4 were pulled directly from these 4 priorities in the strategic plan, and some were kind of subcategories related specifically to things like public safety and health that didn't fit quite as neatly, but still needed some type of representation. So we got a draft report for that, and we are continuing to analyze it. It's going to inform budget decisions, not only this budget, but well into the future. And so we are working in every way we can to implement the strategic plan into kind of our guiding document. Are there any questions or anything you'd like me to demonstrate with the dashboard? All right, thank you very much.
Any questions for Mike? Seeing none. Thank you, Mike. Annual reports. District Attorney Monica Hall.
In interest of your time, we're going to continue a tradition we started a couple years ago, and Clerk of Court Cindy Incha and I are going to actually jointly present to try to save on some time since so much of our lives overlap. 2023, we're sort of, courts were moving out of COVID, and into construction. The courts were moving very quickly, trying to schedule a lot of trials and a lot of hearings, trying to get out of COVID and get caught up with our backlog. But with the onset of construction, there was limited space. As some of you may have heard, there was also a flood that happened around Thanksgiving that affected both of our offices. We took a morning off and just kept on chugging. There has been an increase in the number of criminal cases pending in Jefferson County. Lots of reasons behind that. Want to direct you to your packets on the statistics for the District Attorney's Office. I have to tell you, we had a big retirement in my office, and the woman who used to pull our numbers actually retired. So we had to kind of come up with how she did it on her own. We have now written a policy and procedure on how to do it in the future. But one of the things that we did do was cases open in the District Attorney's Office. This is a statistic we've had for a long time. That statistic, I think, is artificially bloated because we forgot to do one really important thing, which was to pull the warrants out of the system. So as you go to look through those numbers, it might look a lot scarier than it actually is. We've had a steady amount of cases being referred from law enforcement since 2020. We've been charging out steady numbers of cases since 2020, but all the same for various reasons. There's been an increase in criminal cases pending. So the courts did expand. We used to have 2 criminal courts and 2 courts that handled everything else. We now have 3 criminal courts that handle a little bit of everything, and then 1 that handles nothing but civil commitments, family, juvenile, treatment court. We fast forward in 2024, actually going to be going to all 4 courts handling criminal. That's meant some changes in both the clerk's office and in the district attorney's office. The district attorney's office completely changed the way we do operations in order to accommodate needing to have the same number of people being in a number of different places at different times. Clerk's office had to do the same thing. Clerk's office has now become, from being specialty clerks to now I'll sort of have a primary and a secondary, and all of her clerks now have a court role where that was not a thing before. The district attorney's office has approximately 1 to 2 attorneys per courtroom. That way, as the courts add and subtract times, we have an attorney available to them at all times. We've also been modifying the way that we schedule jury trials in order to try to accommodate for this new way criminal cases are proceeding through the system. A lot more seem to be needing to reach the point that they're almost at trial in order to resolve. So the courts have each taken a week of trial per month per courtroom. So each judge gets a trial week, and during that week is when they schedule all their trials. It's kind of helped my office in a way. We used to have to prepare any given week. Now each of us can kind of just prepare in a week, but my colleague Brooke Ellen Toiber just finished her second trial this week. Did you all look? It's Tuesday. So we're still making some modifications to how well we can make that all work. We've been incredibly grateful to the technology available in the building in general. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate the top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art stuff in the courtrooms. The district attorney's office loves being able to just plug something in from our council table and have it appear on the screens. It's been really neat to have witnesses be able to touch the screens in front of them and have it come up for juries. There's a little arrow that shows up on their screens. So the technology has been really helpful when it works.
It's getting there.
I'm going to step back and make a statistical note as it relates to my report as well. I think it's important as you're looking at that data to understand what a closed case in the court system means. That means we've come to a conclusion as it relates to the petition filed. That doesn't mean we're done acting on the case and having that case use court time. I think the simplest example of that would be a divorce action. It's a petition for divorce. Our case goes into closed status as soon as the divorce is granted. We may continue to use court time for the next 18 years addressing child-related issues and even further addressing child support-related issues. But as soon as that judgment of divorce is granted, it goes into closed status. So as you're looking at cases and case time, that becomes an important thing to consider. As we move into our next judicial rotation and what that structure is going to look at, we're very excited. We're going to be in a building that has 4 courtrooms that can do jury trials. We'll have hearing rooms with the same technology as the courtrooms, same technology as the jail. We will all be able to use our technology to be more efficient and be just doing a better job for the litigants in Jefferson County. We will also be moving into a structure where we can be mindful. We can work as a team with all interested offices and players, having a say in how that structure looks and works for everyone. I'm very optimistic. We have a lot of motivated people looking at court structure so that we can implement in July 1 of 2025 into a system where all courts are doing all case types and all case types are getting through the system much more quickly. That has some really significant financial impacts for my budget. The technology, when it works, has the ability to use interpreters remotely. One of the biggest budget lines in my area is interpreters. It's about $40,000 of taxpayer money a quarter. With that population is not going to go down. That cost is going to continue to go up unless we find some other ways to manage it. Technology is one of our best ways to manage it. And once the building's done and the systems work, we have the ability to avoid the mileage that we incur from these interpreters. We have the ability to have that interpretation happening the same way that it happens in the courtroom. And we have the ability to block schedule those so that we can use things very, very efficiently. So I'm optimistic that once we get into the building with its technology working, that you'll see some relief in that area.
Oh, because it was court-appointed counsel. That stays you.
So the other financial areas that I am certainly concerned with are jury trials. The more jury trials we have, the more expense we have. We need to continue to do that to come out of the COVID backlog a little bit further. We also will see some relief once the building is done. It is difficult to send a jury of 12 or 14 people out when there's only one entrance, and screening is difficult to get back in. We were bringing in a lot of meals to keep our court time down and get people in and out of the building. The further we get in construction, the better off we are. So we are releasing people out for lunch rather than bringing in those lunches, which on a week like this is probably the difference in about $600. So that's all a benefit as well. As we move into a new structure, we have to look at how our court appointments occur. We've seen some relief with state public defender appointments getting better, but we are certainly mindful of the county's budget and the taxpayers' support of the courts. In the next budget cycle for the state, there are efforts ongoing by the Director of State Courts Office. They'll be asking for $4.5 million in each of the next 2 budgets from the state to support interpreter services. I don't know if that's going to be money that's coming from the state to the county necessarily, but it will improve the training and certification process through the state, which is a big issue for us. Currently, there are 23 certified Spanish interpreters statewide. It's very difficult for 72 counties to use those 23 people effectively and efficiently. So that should help if it passes. The County Association, in conjunction with the Clerk of Courts Association, is pursuing additional funding from the state for support of the court systems at the county level in the amount of $70 to $90 million is the ask. And the Clerk of Courts Association is pursuing legislative changes that would change and increase court support services fees, and that those portions would stay at the county. The state government and everywhere throughout the state is aware that the support from the state to the counties for the state court system hasn't improved recently. The work being done at the court system has increased. The money coming from the state has not. There is an awareness of that. Where it goes as far as dollars are concerned is yet to be seen.
I think that covers everything.
Questions?
Yes, I have one question. So this case is open is a incorrect number?
The pending cases in my report does not include warrants. The pending cases in hers does include warrants. So once a person is arrested, they move from column to column. But if you're looking at the district attorney's report, that includes the number of cases that are also in warrant status.
Yeah, our numbers should be the same. And I noticed that they were not on that metric.
Yes.
So there's an easy explanation. We do that all the time because of the way that we run our numbers. It actually takes some extra person math to actually subtract out those warrant cases.
Okay. So they're not as bad as it looks.
I mean, we're busy, but we're not that busy.
I mean, I look at the percentage of what it goes up per year. I mean, in 2 years, it's gone up over 100%.
And that should be the thing, is that year to year, those numbers are actually kind of accurate. But as far as why that's happening, I don't know. So if you're comparing year to year, right, we didn't take warrants out of any of those years. So why there's so many people essentially in warrant, I'm not sure. But when you're looking at those year-to-year comparisons, do look at the clerk of court's numbers. Theirs are correct. The district attorneys are going to give you a false impression of the picture, and I'd hate for that to happen. So, but the number of cases that we have been having referred and the amount of cases that we have been charging have remained basically more or less the same.
Yeah, I was looking at the domestic referrals, and I'm surprised that that number really hasn't gone up compared to what you're seeing statewide.
No.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you all for your support.
That takes us to item D under annual reports. No, hold it. Wait, we skipped over Kevin. Parks annual report. Parks Director Kevin Weissman.
do this anymore without cheaters. All right, well, good evening. Kevin Weissman, the Director of the Jefferson County Parks Department. I will certainly try to make this brief for everyone. I first wanted to say I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity. I've been with our department for 14 years and get to work on a lot of amazing projects, work with a lot of amazing people, and we're a department that gets a ton of really positive feedback, and I think that's a testament to what happens on this board floor and the investments that the county's made in our park system. So just want to start off and say thank you all for that. Our department manages the building of the county system of 22 parks, 3 bike trails. We work with our volunteers on our county snowmobile program and some of our other larger concept projects like our county water trails program, our intercommunity bike routes and bike maps, to name a few. We also work with multiple county departments to maintain the groundskeeping for our campuses. This includes the groundskeeping for our fair park, workforce development, the sheriff's annex, the sheriff's shooting range, the old and new highway departments, and multiple other county-owned facilities that are scattered about. And we also supplement our facilities building maintenance staff and winter snow operations, and miscellaneous other projects like some of the groundskeeping for the new courthouse building here. Another one of our growing responsibilities has been the management of the county's flood mitigation properties, just keeping tabs on them, making sure we're working with our law enforcement for compliance reasons. We've also started to work through some development on some public access on those properties. There's tons of fishing pressure along our rivers and lakes where all of those properties exist. A couple examples of those are the Black Hawk Island Fishing Wharf and a couple other designated fishing accesses along the river. Considerable accomplishments in the past year include our successful grant writing program, increases in volunteer organizations and businesses reaching out to work on projects, donations to park-specific projects and endowments, ongoing education events in the parks with our partners, the Interurban Trail. And I do promise that we're almost done with that project, and I won't come to you guys every other month with another resolution for it, but we're very close to finishing that one. Multiple launch improvements on our water trails, infrastructure maintenance, and our forestry and natural resources work, to name a few. We have a whole bunch of them outlined in our report for you guys to go ahead and take a look at. Another thing I just want to mention is we've been almost fully staffed for the first time in many years. We weren't quite fully staffed this year, but these past 2 years, we've had a really great team of people that do the work in our park system, and I just want to say I'm extremely grateful for those folks. I know I've talked to some of our administrative staff. We're always grateful for the STEP program, the COLAs that are provided to try to keep and retain our employees. That's something that over time has been challenging, but extremely grateful for the staff that we currently have. Also just wanted to note that we have really good, what I perceive as really good working relationships within the departments of our county. So we've rearranged a little bit. The county is kind of set up different. We've always had good relationships, though, with our land departments, with our highway departments, with our health and human services. Always willing anytime we reach out and ask for something, and vice versa when they reach out and ask us for something, trying to be those team players. And I talked to some of my cohorts in other places and what their situation is with their elected body, what their situation is within their counties, and I'm going to say that I feel like I work in a really positive work environment, and I work with a lot of great department heads and staff, and that makes our job worthwhile as well. And lastly, just want to, again, thank our board for the support on all of our projects. We get tons and tons of feedback from our community about how grateful they are for our trails, for the resources that we manage, and that all starts and ends on the board floor here. So as always, I hope the members of the board feel comfortable stopping by our office, stopping me in the hall, stopping me at a meeting, broaching a conversation. If there's something that you feel like we could be doing better, if there's something that you've seen somewhere else, always willing to have those conversations, and hope people recognize that we very much have an open door and like to hear from our elected officials. It's good, bad, or indifferent, but we like to have those conversations. So yeah. Any questions for me?
Questions from Mr. Brogwood?
What percentage of the old highway department are we still responsible for?
The old highway department?
So we maintain various parts of it. It's within the city boundaries, so there's weed ordinances, so we have to go out and periodically keep the weeds down on the whole thing. Some of it we mow almost weekly along Perner Street, along the new street that goes by the park there, where the old supervisor's office was. We have to keep that stuff down because it'll be a weed violation. We've been noticed by the city before if we don't keep it down regularly. So basically all of it, but it doesn't all necessarily get mowed every week. We'll brush mow it intermittently, and the rest of it we mow.
Other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Kevin, appreciate it. Takes us to item D, Human Resources, HR Director Terry Palm-Kostrowski.
First of all, I hate standing behind a podium, but I'm Terry from Human Resources. I think I've met almost all of you at some point, even some of the newcomers in here. I did hand out tonight for the first time the report that you're getting to look at of different things that have happened within our department in the 2023. One correction I need to make in there is, it was in regards to employee recognition and how many lunches we served at our annual lunch that we put on at the fairgrounds. And I think it says 0 in there, and I'm not sure what happened as I was typing over, but there was about 170 this year. It was a little bit lower. We held it on a Friday, and Highway Department was still on there 4/10s, and so many of the people at the Highway Department weren't able to attend on that, so it was down, but we are planning our next one October 3rd. So I invite any of you out there to join in, and if you want to help serve, we're always going to be looking for volunteers for that as well. So as far as my verbal presentation to everybody, I'm changing this up a little bit than I think I've ever heard anyone else do. I didn't do a presentation to put my pretty pictures up that I've done in the last few years. I don't have anything particularly prepared. What I thought I would do is, instead of waiting to the end for questions, is what questions do you have as board members have for me in HR? Is it like, what do you do? What's going on? Do you have anything specific you want me to answer? I could get myself in trouble by ad-libbing, but I'm nobody. Blaine. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you have a question, Supervisor Morris?
If you could change something in your office, what would you change?
In our office or the department? Because otherwise, if it's our
Department.
office, I'd paint a blue wall on. That's an inside joke.
I don't mean the
No,
physical
I
structure.
You know, I said I wasn't going to do this as far as trying to go to HR and whine and complain, because I absolutely hate it when people say I'm overworked, I don't have enough staff. But I think one thing, and it is something I was going to talk about if no one had the question about, like, our strategic plan and how it relates to human resources, is there's a lot of things on there, and resources to implement some of those, I think, are a big thing. You know, since I started here over 20 years ago, we've increased in size. I did get one extra person in the office since then. But it's not just staff help. Some of it is just, quite honestly, funding to be able to fund some of the things that we need to do. But we also know the restraints that are real, and we make do with what we have. But if it's a plug for when the budget is coming around and you want to give HR more money, we would be happy. Like even different things in regards to recruiting and training, which is big on our list. Anything else? Blaine, Supervisor Paulson, come on. Well, thank you for asking. I'd love to answer the question about how does HR align with the county strategic plan, which is, obviously, we spent a lot of time in that over the last couple of years. So there are some key takeaways when I'm looking at that as far as cost control, efficiency, and service improvement. You know, we've worked on several things. A lot of it comes to county board when it's fun and exciting, unless it's fun and exciting and I can't talk about it. And one was the market response compensation market program. If you remember when that came through, it's to try to address, as the market changes, to be able to ebb and flow a little bit faster with those positions that change because of the market. So it's not a plan that we don't know how well it's going to work. We just know that what we have necessarily isn't working. So the plan is we gather market data every year, we evaluate what went well, what didn't work, what do we need to change on that, and adapt every year and hopefully make it better so that we can stay closer with the trends of market with positions. One of the challenges that I see in that, and I don't have the right answer, if I did, I'd bottle it and sell it, and but we have a lot of different kinds of positions here in Jefferson County, from our law enforcement to social worker, healthcare, our court system. And one market, when we go out and survey our counties, doesn't necessarily capture every single kind of position that's out there. A lot of positions that are maybe like our administrative positions, maintenance positions, might make more sense, the private sector, but that's not always easy data to get. You can get salary surveys and those kind of things. But even the cities, a lot of, city data we can get. But then we look at some of the management positions that we have, or social worker positions. Those are not going to be, you're not getting that data from the city. So how do you collect from different markets and kind of smash it all together to create one pay plan? And I don't know if you can do that. But that is a challenge that we're working on and cognizant of and continue to address as well. In regards to the strategic planning, another area was on efficiency. We are working on increasing our employee wellness and safety and engagement. We did an employee engagement survey at the end of 2023, and lots of stuff comes from that. But one of the things, baby pieces to take forward of what we can offer that maybe doesn't have a lot of cost, is we implemented a new vision plan for our employees. It's voluntary, but it's pretty good benefit for low cost, I guess the way to put that. Another one that we're going to be rolling out, we haven't even announced it really to our department heads or employees, but it's going to be coming out with open enrollment this year, is implementing a voluntary short-term disability plan. That was something that a lot of employees said that they would be interested in having. Especially, we have separate sick, vacation, holiday banks here in Jefferson County. So especially new employees coming in, when they don't have that sick bank built up, to be able to maybe purchase something that would give them some kind of leave if they have something that happens in their first few years with the county. And then the last area on the strategic planning is in regards to service improvement. This isn't actually new. We've been doing this, and I honestly think Jefferson County has led this in regards to professional development and leadership for our staff, not just our supervisors that are currently there, but identifying future leaders. We have, for over 5 years, sent employees to leadership that WCA participates in, NACO, different ones through MATC and WCTC. And for the last 3 years, if you would go on, and if they still have the recordings out there for WCA, you will see that the most participation from anywhere is from Jefferson County in the last 3 years. We normally send anywhere between, I think 1 year was just 4, but we had, I think, 7 or 8 in another year, which is really awesome that the county board supports that for that and allows us to be able to do that for our employees. So I think that's really important, and we are continuing to do that. One thing I found this year for 2024 is we go to our department heads and our managers and asking, have you identified anybody for succession planning on who might be able to take over some of these leadership roles, even if it's not in a supervisor role, just a leadership role. And what I've seen in 2024 is that's starting to decline, not because we don't have people that are identified, but because a lot of people have already went through this. I think over the last 4 years, we have put probably 40 people through. I think on an average 10 employees a year that we put through some kind of leadership program. So it's not just, even, I hate to say this, but I lost an employee in my own department gave them all the development I could do because that was a goal, but we just didn't have any room for them to move in here. But they are still a good resource. We keep in contact all the time. So, that's still a benefit as far as promoting Jefferson County and what we can do. Any other questions before I ask myself one more? The only other thing I had and I had a list of them, but is what is some emerging trends in human resources, whether it's public sector or not? And I think one of the biggest ones that I'm seeing, and it's actually on one of my goals to bring forward, get a policy in place and procedure. Not some people will like it, some won't, and that's in regards to AI. I use that for over the last year and a half on doing different things. It's not, you have to use it the right way. And does everybody in here know what I mean by AI, artificial intelligence? Anybody that not? So it's an online kind of program that we have. Our office has purchased it. It's relatively inexpensive. So sometimes it's just to get me a start at where you want to go, and it saves a lot of time. It just helps out on efficiency. I never would rely on it as the sole, this is all I'm going to use, I'm going to print off and turn it in. But some of the resolutions that I've been doing are helping out with, if you just put the details in, it shoots out a nice little, at least, template. And I know Mark did something for the Finance Committee, and I think it might be interesting for all county board members to see that. It was a nice presentation that he did as well. No other, I know now, see, I told you, all I'm gonna do is talk, and I can just keep going on and on. So I'm done talking on that, but I do have a couple of jokes, because I always have something on that, so. Sorry, was there any other questions? No, that's a bad joke, I'm not gonna do that one, hold on. All right, so this was said by Bill Gates. I will always choose a lazy person to do a hard job because that lazy person will find an easy way to do it. And if you have kids, teenagers in particular, it makes a lot of sense. And this one would be kind of like me, like right now, I'll use it here. It said, HR just told me that yelling, I don't want to play anymore, I don't want to do this, is not the proper way to exit a meeting. But, so I'm going to exit my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Takes us to item 11, committee reports and resolutions and ordinances. Building and Grounds Committee, resolution authorizing courthouse jail project change order for jail ventilation. Supervisor Backlund.
Resolution number 2024-33, authorizing courthouse/jail project change order jail ventilation. Jefferson County embarked on a significant project that saw the renovation and additions to the Jefferson County Courthouse, Sheriff's Office, and Jail. The initial contracts and operational parameters for budget management and change orders were approved by the county board through resolution number 2022-30. Throughout the project, efforts have been made to ensure that identified issues that may have not been included in the original scope due to unforeseen conditions were brought forward to be addressed. Examples have included issues with bad soil under the parking lot and sidewalks, addressing unsafe electrical conditions in the jail, structural issues from the 1990s, and issues with redundant power backup for the dispatch jail operations. One emerging issue was related to the jail ventilation system. As work progressed, it was identified that there were concerns related to the ability for the jail ventilation system to operate based on the number of personnel housed. The concern is the impact this would have to living conditions and the county's fiduciary duty of care. Several attempts were made to look at the best options to achieve the needed cubic feet per minute, CFM, of airflow. It was ultimately determined that the current system as designed and in place could not achieve the appropriate level. The issue was reviewed with the Buildings and Grounds Committee on several occasions as part of the update. The review included cost estimate plans for potential budget amendment to the project. In preparation for the March carry forward budget meeting, the county administrator recommended various budget amendments to the 2024 budget, which included an allocation of $2 million towards the courthouse, sheriff, and jail project. This included the concern related to the jail ventilation system, which had an estimated allocation of $500,000. Upon approval of the budget amendment, Additional work proceeded on due diligence to the project, as this required reviews by the Department of Safety and Professional Services and the Department of Corrections. Further, additional investigation was required to include roof structure and the condition of plumbing contained within the same utility chase. Due to the deteriorating conditions of some of the piping and replacement of several shower fixtures, it is being recommended to replace the plumbing in the utility chase due to the efficiency of replacing it while a secure wall is open. Upon final coordination and needed approval, a construction bulletin with revised plans were issued, and the final cost was determined at approximately $472,250. Based on our current scope and timing, there may be additional costs for Moss, as this will extend the project. County Resolution 2022-30 requires a majority of the county board approves the change order greater than $400,000. The Finance Committee considered this resolution on September 3rd, 2024, and the Buildings and Grounds considered this resolution on September 5th, 2024, and both unanimously approved. Fiscal note: the county board approved a transfer out of the general fund to the capital projects fund in the amount of $2 million at its March 12th, 2024 meeting for the purpose of completing the courthouse, jail, the sheriff and jail improvement project, which included a reserve of $500,000 for jail ventilation upgrades. At this time, there are no additional funds required for the completion of the project and execution of this change order. I recommend approval of this resolution.
Recommended by Supervisor Backlund. Do I have a second? Supervisor Morris. Any questions, concerns?
Yes, I have one question.
Supervisor Gross?
Yeah, what's the percentage ratio of the ventilation system that you're putting in? What's the ratio?
I don't know.
Yes.
300 CFM.
Those lines of response was the target for the engineering is 300 CFMs.
300 CFM. But what ratio are you going to be putting above that? You're going to just, is it going to be just exactly what you need, or is there a percentage?
In terms of the amount of folks in there with the humidity, et cetera.
Correct.
Our understanding will be above
Temperature
it.
differences, because that's all has to make a difference, with the CFM.
So I don't have the exact ratio, but what this is being designed, for those who have not sat through this, is currently is one exhaust fan for the entire system. There's 4 utility chases throughout the jail, a total of 8 pods. There will be now, within each utility chase, there will be an exhaust fan for each one separately to help pull the sufficient air through. If that helps, without knowing the full technical answer ratios.
Okay, but for expansion, you're not the fan system's not gonna, is it 40,000, 60,000 CFM? What percentage over what you're doing, or is it going to be exactly what you need at this time? And depending on the time, what you're controlling it with a VFD or just with dampers or?
Ryan, can you talk into the microphone? The back ones aren't working, so just try to find one so people in line can hear too.
Currently, the system was designed with VFDs, but I don't have those exact amounts for you at this point. I can get those. But
There is a change though, because like Mr. Waymeyer was saying, they're switching from one to, they're all going to be more customizable, so you can operate them differently. It is my understanding they're going to
Shut one down if no one's in there.
I believe that's right. And because they're the way they're setting it, it depends, because 2 pods is going to share one ventilation shaft. So there could be a potential where that would be on, but you're going from one, you're adding a whole lot more so that each shower area basically will have well, shared with an adjacent shower pod, but I think that's the big difference if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're upset.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution passes. Takes item 12, Executive Committee Resolution authorizing development of emergency medical services EMS work group. Supervisor Winnicke.
Resolution number 2024 34, thank you. In 2020, Jefferson County commissioned a study to assess the current status of emergency medical services within Jefferson County and explore potential options for the future of these services. The county has received inquiries regarding the county's potential involvement in addressing these concerns, from facilitation to triggering tools in a countywide EMS service. It is recommended that a working group be established comprised of representation from various stakeholders to concentrate on developing key action steps towards a sustainable EMS system countywide. This would include representatives of towns, villages, cities, EMS providers, medical directors, and various county staff, including administration, county emergency management, public health, and sheriff's dispatch. This would allow for the county's assistance in the facilitation and technical work to support these collaborative efforts. The county has previously appropriated $50,000 to assist in these efforts as needed. Appointments to this working group would be made by the county board chair. This resolution authorizes the county board chair to establish a working group of various community stakeholders to work collaboratively to develop a sustainable EMS system countywide. Fiscal note, the county board authorized $50,000 for EMS planning to be carried forward into the 2024 budget at its March 12th, 2024 meeting. Any unspent funds are anticipated to be carried forward into the 2025 budget. This resolution meets the strategic plan reference. Mr. Chair, I would move approval.
Moved by Mr. Winnicke, second by Supervisor Backlund. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Hearing none?
No.
So one in opposition. The resolution passes. Resolution supporting Rock River Community Clinic new access point application.
Resolution number 2024 32? 35. It's like a memory test, and I failed again. Jefferson County has a history of supporting both financially and in kind the free and charitable clinics which provide health services for community members of Jefferson County. In 2019, these clinics were merged to form the Rock River Community Clinic with the intention of becoming a critical access point for providing affordable, comprehensive, high-quality health care, including medical, dental, and behavioral health services in the greater Jefferson County area, particularly focused on rural areas. The merged Rock County Community Clinic successfully achieved federal qualified health center lookalike status. This status has allowed the clinic to build upon its foundation and plan for the future to enhance service coverage. To meet the growing needs of the community, Rock River Community Clinic is looking to open a new site in Johnson Creek. With the additional space, Rock River Community Clinic will be able to provide robust, integrated behavioral health services and provide opportunities for workforce development. This resolution offers Jefferson County's support in Rock River Community Clinic's effort to secure additional new access point funding, which will provide the RRCC the opportunity to sustain, expand, and advance access to comprehensive primary health care in rural Jefferson County. This resolution was reviewed by the Executive Committee on July 31st, 2024, who unanimously recommended it forwarded to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note, this resolution has no fiscal impact. Strategic plan reference, yes. Mr. Chair, I move approval.
Moved by Supervisor Winnicke, second by Supervisor Paulson. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Gross, you have a question?
Yes, what's what's doing the perpetual cost of this operation?
From which side, Supervisor Gross? So right now, the county's annual budget has appropriated roughly about $60,000 on an annual basis to help support the clinic, as well as there's been supplemental care from the various foundations to the two main medical systems that are impacted by it going forward. Typically, these access point clinics have seen varying dollar amounts. Many in the state of Wisconsin see roughly about another $1.1 to $1.3 million in assistance care. With these new access points, is envisioned being roughly anywhere from $600,000 to $800,000 per sites who are approved. There's a total of 77 access points that will be available that will be competitive across the country. What the system also builds in, it is also allows for being billable. So there's private insurance, there's a sliding scale for care service, and there's also Badger Care, Medicaid, Medicare reimbursement as well. This is the only dental clinic in the county right now that actually takes Medicaid assistance. So it's one of those things that go forward. So the intention behind this is really moves so folks who have participated to really get to a more sustainable funding stream between the cost for service, between those various things, including private insurance and government-assisted programs that are already in place, to the enhancement would come with the lookalike status as to being a full FQHC. So hopefully that helps with the answer.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. The resolution passes. Item 13, Finance Committee. Resolution denying claim for damages by Charter Spectrum. Supervisor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Resolution number 2024-36. A claim has been made against Jefferson County for damages. The claim has been reviewed by the county insurance carrier, WMIC, and was recommended for disallowance based on the finding that the county has no liability for this claim and is not legally responsible for the alleged damages. This resolution formally denies the claim filed against Jefferson County and directs the Corporation Council to give the claimant notice of disallowance. The Finance Committee considered this resolution on September 3rd, 2024, and recommended forward to the County Board for approval. Fiscal note, this matter has been referred to Wisconsin Municipal Mutual Insurance Company, WMIC, and resolved in accordance with the terms of the county policy. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Jekyll. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Resolution passes. Resolution accepting PSC Rural Energy Startup Program Grant and amending the 2024 Central Services Department budget. Supervisor Jones.
Resolution number 2024-37. The U.S. Department of Energy, through its Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, has funded the Rural Energy Startup Program. The rest is administered by the Wisconsin Public Service Commission through its Office of Energy Innovation, and it supports communities taking initial steps to reduce energy use, reduce fossil emissions, and improve energy efficiency. Jefferson County applied for and received a $75,000 award under the rest for the purpose of energy audits and building upgrades. A grant agreement was signed between PSC and Jefferson County on August 1, 2024. Under the terms of the agreement, Jefferson County will use that funding to conduct an energy audit in all of Jefferson County-owned facilities, creating a report identifying steps to reduce energy consumption, including identification of recommended upgrades to building assets and funding to accomplish those upgrades. The report will review all municipal energy systems and explore renewable energy opportunities. Based on audit findings and remaining funding, Jefferson County may also upgrade or retrofit buildings and equipment to be more energy efficient and cost effective. Jefferson County submitted its grant application in January 2024 and was informed of its award in the spring. On April 2nd, 2024, the Building and Grounds Committee authorized the release of an RFP for a professional service contract to perform this energy audit. No significant movement occurred until the grant application was signed on August 1. The RFP was released on August 28, 2024, and responses are due back by September 27th. This resolution authorizes the county administrator to accept the PSE Rural Energy Startup Program grant and amend the 2024 Central Service Department budget accordingly. The Finance Committee considered this resolution on September 3, 2024, and recommended forward to the county board for approval. Fiscal note, passage of this resolution authorizes the county finance director to make the necessary budget adjustments to enact this resolution. This is a budget amendment. County board approval requires 2/3 vote of the entire membership of the county board, 20 votes of the 30-member county board. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Christensen. Questions, discussion?
Yes, I have a
Supervisor
question.
Gross?
Yes.
Yeah.
What are they doing, like IR scans on existing switchgear and things like that, or what are they doing in this study?
Yes, that would be part of those studies. They would also be looking at any of our mechanical systems, aged equipment, even roofs, what layers, what kind of material are used on the roofs, looking at all of those different envelope and mechanical systems of those facilities. Lighting, any LED lighting opportunities to save money as well. Setbacks as to BAS systems would also be included in that study.
Thank you. Any other questions? This is a 2/3 vote. Please use your tablets.
Supervisor Herbst,
Yes.
we have 27 yes, 1 no, 2 absent.
The resolution passes. Item C, resolution awarding contract for auditing services. Supervisor Jones.
Resolution number 2024-38. In 2019, Jefferson County contracted with Clifford Larson Allen LLP to provide auditing services for the county through 2016. Is that correct? In 2021, the county approved an extension of the contract through 2023 fiscal year end. County administration decided in 2024 to seek requests for a proposal for auditing services for 2024 through 2026 with an optional 2-year extension through 2028. Staff and Finance Committee members reviewed the proposal to determine which firm should be awarded the contract based on the criteria such as cost, proposal requirements, experience, and audit approach. The Finance Committee considers resolution at its August 6, 2024 meeting and recommends contracting with Stillage for county auditing service as described in the request for proposal. Fiscal note, the cost of the 2024 audit services are currently budgeted in the proposed 2025 budget. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Moved by Supervisor Jones, second by Supervisor Cherville Heights. Oh, you had a question? Second by Supervisor Jaco. Questions? Supervisor Cherville Heights.
I was just wondering why we went for the higher rate.
What?
Goes back for
Go-
Mark, sorry.
The next one works, Mark.
There's a difference of $9,500 over a 5-year period, which equates to less than $2,000 a year. The reason why we recommended Sikich, which was the higher cost firm, there are 2 parts to this audit. There's a financial piece, and then there's a federal and state grant audit piece. The financial piece, you heard from our auditors, they presented back in June on the financial piece. The single audit piece or the grant audit piece is still not completed. This is creating issues for us in our budget cycle. We want to move the timing of that grant audit up, and it doesn't seem like CLA can come through for us. We have brought this issue up to them consistently over the past 5 years. They haven't corrected it. We feel like it's time for a change. Steve, can I have one more thing?
Mr. Waymire.
I think the other consideration is the fact that they had been our auditors for X amount of years. And it's from a practice standpoint, bringing a fresh pair of eyes also to make sure a check and balance of the systems to you all from staff. We also think that's a best practice in some ways to make sure we do have a rotation every so often of that professional service.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution passes. Resolution authorizing the repurpose of American Rescue Plan Act funding and amending the 2024 budget. Supervisor Jones.
Resolution number 2024-39. The American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, more commonly known as ARPA, was signed into law in the first quarter of 2021 as an additional round of stimulus to assist in economic recovery from COVID-19 and its related impacts. Jefferson County received a direct allocation from the federal government of approximately $16.4 million. On June 8, 2021, the county board passed a resolution that provided parameters for the spending of ARPA dollars, which included a provision that the county board would formally approve programs and related expenditures funded by ARPA through the budget process or through resolution if it becomes necessary to deviate from the spending plan adopted by the board through the budget process. On November 14, 2023, the board adopted the 2024 budget, which included a spending plan for the ARPA funding. Within the spending plan was the amount of $1 million earmarked for the Live Local Development Fund, which is intended to provide developer incentive for housing projects. However, the current interest rates environment has made it challenging for developers to secure financing at the rate that provides an acceptable return on investment. As a result, the funds earmarked for this program have not yet been spent. The Finance Committee met on September 3, 2024, and determined that the Live Local Development funding is important to the achievement of the county's strategic goals and as such should be kept intact. However, ARPA funding must be spent by December 31, 2024. As a result, the Finance Committee voted to repurpose the ARPA allocation to fund the improvements to the county courthouse, sheriff's department, jail, and use $1 million of general fund balance that had been carried over by the board during its March 12, 2024 meeting for the building projects to fund the Live Local Development Fund. Fiscal note, passage of this resolution authorizes the county finance director to make the necessary budget adjustments to enact this resolution. This is a budget amendment. County board approval requires a 2/3 vote of the entire membership of the county board, 20 votes of the 30-member county board. Mr. Chair, I move for passage of this resolution.
Moved by Supervisor Jones. Do I have a second? Second by Supervisor Jekyll. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, it's a roll call vote.
Supervisor Herbst? We have 28 yes, 0 no, 2 absent.
Thank you. The resolution passes. Item 14, Human Resources Committee, resolution restructuring the Emergency Management Department, reclassifying the program assistant position to Deputy Emergency Management Director position. Supervisor Brogler.
Resolution number 2024-40. The recent leadership position transitions with the Emergency Management and Sheriff's Department have triggered various recommendations related to the organizational structure and needs of the county. Historically, the Emergency Management Department was directly reported to the county sheriff. Going forward, the Emergency Management Department will be a direct report to the county administrator. This change has brought to light 2 additional needs. First, the previous sheriff served as a primary backup to the Emergency Management Director. Second, the growing demand for technical expertise to meet the needs of the county and its communities has underscored the necessity for a role that can fully support the operational demands of the department during periods of leave. This need was reinforced during the conversation with key stakeholders excuse me, as part of the process of filling the Emergency Management Director role. The Emergency Management Director's department is currently staffed with 2 full-time positions, which includes the director and program assistant. Given the technical and functional needs of the department, it is recommended that the program assistant role is reclassified to a deputy director role. It is anticipated this adjustment in the 2024 budget year will be cost neutral due to the budgeting of the former emergency management director at the top step. The Human Resource Committee considered this request at their August 2024 and recommended moving forward to the county board approval. The Finance Committee was advised of this recommendation in their September 3rd, 2024 meeting. The difference between the budget salary of the former emergency management director and the incoming emergency management director is expected to be sufficient to cover the cost of this reclassification. Therefore, no additional tax levy or budget is required for this action. I move for passage.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Brogler, second by Mr. Morris. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes voice vote. Thank you. Item 15, Land and Water Conservation Committee. Resolution authorizing the application and implementation of Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Clean Boats, Clean Waters Grant. Supervisor Turville Heights.
The resolution number 2024-41. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources has a grant program called Clean Boats, Clean Waters, which funds staff to educate boaters about aquatic invasive species laws. In partnership with the town and city of Lake Mills, the Jefferson County Land and Water Conservation Department desires to implement this grant program on Rock Lake in 2025. The town and city of Lake Mills will provide matching funds for the program. This resolution authorizes the Jefferson County to apply for and implement the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Clean Boats, Clean Waters Grant on Rock Lake. The Land and Water Conservation Committee considered this resolution on August 21, 2024, and recommended forwarding it to the county board for approval. Fiscal note, the total grant request is $5,550. The town and city of Lake Mills contribution is $1,800, which will cover summer staff costs and supplies. The Land and Water Conservation Department budget will cover printing expenses. The grant amount, municipal amount, and corresponding expenses will be included in the 2025 budget. No budget amendment is necessary. Mr. Chair, I move for approval of this resolution.
Moved by Supervisor Turville Heights. Who seconded? Supervisor Richardson. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution passes. Item B, resolution authorizing the application and implementation of Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Lake Monitoring and Protection Network Grant. Supervisor Turville Heights.
Resolution number 2024-42. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources provides annual support to counties for lake monitoring and aquatic invasive species prevention and management activities, referenced as the Lake Monitoring and Protection Network Grant. The amount allocated in 2025 for Jefferson County is $13,003.36, and a grant application is required to be submitted to obtain the funds. This resolution authorizes Jefferson County to apply for and implement a Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Lake Monitoring and Protection Network grant. The Land and Water Conservation Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on August 21, 2024, and recommended forwarding it to the county board for approval. Fiscal note, the total 2025 grant award will be $13,003.36, which will cover the cost of staff time spent implementing the grant deliverables. This grant amount and corresponding expenses will be included in the 2025 budget. No budget amendment is necessary. Mr. Chair, I move for a recommendation of approval of this resolution.
Moved by Supervisor Turville Heights. Do I have a second? Second. Supervisor Richardson, it was a tie. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution passes. Item 16, Law Enforcement Emergency Management Committee, resolution adopting a public implementation plan for updating the Jefferson County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Supervisor Morris.
This is the blue page at your desk. Resolution 2024-43, adopting a public implementation plan for update of the Jefferson County Hazard Mitigation Plan. To better prepare our communities for natural and human-made disasters, Jefferson County is in the process of updating the county's hazard mitigation plan consistent with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000. The Federal Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000 established a program of technical and financial assistance to states and local governments in the implementation of pre-disaster hazard mitigation measures. This assistance was intended to support measures that are cost-effective and are designed to reduce injuries, loss of life, and property damage and destruction, including damage to critical services and facilities under the jurisdiction of the states or local governments. The act authorizes such assistance to be used to, 1, support effective public-private partnerships, 2, improve the assessment of a community's natural hazard vulnerabilities, or 3, establish a community's mitigation priorities. Jefferson County Emergency Management will lead the process in partnership with Civic Tech Consulting based out of Lake Mills. Representatives from county departments, local municipalities, and other organizations will help develop the plan's risk assessment, capability assessment, and mitigation strategy. To fund the update, Jefferson County secured a planning grant through FEMA's Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities program. This resolution will adopt a public implementation plan to involve citizens and local units of government in its plan update. The Law Enforcement Emergency Management Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on August 23, 2024, and recommended forwarding it to the county board for approval. And the fiscal note is that this resolution has no fiscal impact. On page 23 in your packet, you see the outlined activities. Mr. Chair, I move for adoption of this resolution.
Moved by Supervisor Morris. Do I have a second? Second by Supervisor Draina. Questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution passes. Takes us to item 17, Parks Committee, resolution authorizing county conservation aids grant application for Dorothy Carnes County Park. Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have resolution number 2024-44. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Fish and Wildlife Management Grant Program was created to assist counties in the improvement of fish and wildlife resources. The program was established by the Wisconsin legislature in 1965 and provides matching funds for a growing list of county-sponsored fish and wildlife habitat projects. The Jefferson County Parks Department will apply for financial assistance through this program to supplement vegetation management activities in the Dorothy Carnes Park, including prescribed burning and invasive plant controls. The project will consist of a spring 2025 prescribed fire and follow-up work through the spring and summer of 2025 to eliminate any invasive woody species from target areas of the Dorothy Carnes Park East prairies, such as honeysuckle, buckthorn, multifloral rose, black walnut, and others. The total cost of the project is estimated at $5,000. The grant application requests up to 50% of the total project cost to be used toward the project, $2,500, which will be matched by both park staff, labor, and other departmental revenues and donations. The resolution authorizes submission of the grant application and acceptance of grant funds up to $2,500 of the $2,500 matching allocation through donations, county staff labor, and volunteer labor. The Parks Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on August 22nd, 2024, and recommended forwarding to the county board for approval. Fiscal note. Total cost of this project is estimated at $5,000, which will be funded through the CCA grant in the amount of up to $2,500, with the balance funded through a combination of reserve applied operating as listed and staff and volunteer labor. This revenue and expenditure is included in the Parks 2025 budget as drafted. No budget amendment is necessary. Mr. Chairman, I move for adoption of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Christensen, second by Mr. Gulig. Questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution passes. Item B, resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter into a contract with KL Engineering for the construction, administration, oversight of the Jefferson County Interurban Trail Project in Phase 3.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
Chairman. I have resolution number 2024-45. The Jefferson County Parks Department is continuing construction of a multi-use recreational trail on utility right-of-way owned by We Energies. The proposed trail is 10.96 miles and is located on the former interurban rail line between the city of Watertown and the city of Oconomowoc. The path cross-section will consist of a 10-foot wide asphalt surface and 2-foot wide aggregate shoulders. The project includes 10 miles of trail within Jefferson County and 1 mile of trail in Waukesha County. The city of Watertown and the city of Oconomowoc are the project boundaries. The trail will act as an extension of the Lake Country Trail and eventually connect to the city of Pewaukee. This project has completed 2 of 3 phases of construction consisting of 7 miles of trail. Multiple federal and state grants have been awarded for the 3rd phase of the project, totaling $1,985,665. The final phase of this project will include the construction of 3 miles of paved trail from County Highway F to the county line east of Ski Slide Road. This portion of the project will be 80% funded by a Transportation Alternatives Program grant and will require oversight reporting and administration outside of the capabilities of the county. Jefferson County published a request for proposals on June 26, 2024 for construction oversight and administration services and received responses from 4 firms on July 18, 2024. Staff reviewed the submissions based on each firm's relevant project experience administering trail construction projects, including Wisconsin Department of Transportation funded projects, firm availability based on Jefferson County's project timeline, and staffing hourly rates. Based on this review, the Parks Department recommends utilizing the services of KL Engineering. This resolution authorizes the county administrator to enter into a contract with KL Engineering for construction oversight and administration services for Phase 3 of the Jefferson County Interurban Trail Project. The Parks Committee reviewed this resolution at its meeting on August 22, 2024, and recommended forwarding to the County Board for approval. And we have a fiscal note, and it goes, of the total cost of services for construction engineering of $166,825.79, $133,460.63 will be paid by the Transportation Alternatives Program grant, and the remaining $33,365.16 will be paid for from the carryover amount of $303,243.43 that was approved by the county board at its March 12, 2024 meeting. The approved funds are intended to be carried forward into 2025. This is a budget expenditure in the 2025 Jefferson County Parks budget. Therefore, no budget amendment is necessary. Mr. Chairman, I move for adoption of this resolution.
Moved by Supervisor Christensen, second by Supervisor Morris. Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
The resolution passes. Item C, resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the town of Lake Mills regarding North End Boat launch in Lower Rock Lake County Park. Supervisor Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have resolution number 2024-46. 49. I'm sorry.
46.
46? Right.
46.
Well, fight amongst yourselves on that.
Bingo, yeah.
Jefferson County owns Lower Rock Lake Park, located within the boundaries of the town of Lake Mills, period. Within Lower Rock Lake Park, there is a town of Lake Mills right-of-way, which runs parallel to the Rock Lake shoreline. The town has historically managed the North End boat launch located adjacent to its right-of-way, and within the and within county's Lower Rock Lake Park. The town has collected and retained all launch fees. The town has been working on a grant application for funding for a reconstruction and improvement project for the North End boat launch through the Recreational Boating Facilities Grant Program administered by the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. During the DNR's review of town's grant application, it was discovered the county is the likely owner of the strip of land between the town's right-of-way and the water's edge. As such, the DNR requires a formal agreement between the county and town regarding rights and responsibilities related to the North End boat launch as a condition of receipt of grant funding. This resolution authorizes the county administrator to finalize and execute a memorandum of understanding with the town of Lake Mills defining roles and responsibilities related to the North End boat launch and Lower Rock Lake Park. Specifically, per the terms of the MOU, the county will maintain Lower Rock Lake Park. The town will maintain the piers and other launch structures, and both entities will mutually agree upon how to spend the launch fees collected for the North End boat launch pursuant to an annual work plan. The Parks Committee considered this resolution at its meeting on July 25, 2024, August 12, 2024, and August 22nd, 2024, and recommended forwarding to the county board for approval. The MOU and supporting documentation follows this page. Fiscal note, MOU between the town of Lake Mills and Jefferson County does not impose any additional fiscal responsibilities on Jefferson County. Mr. Chairman, I move for adoption of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Christensen, second by Supervisor Turville Heights, or Supervisor Callen. Questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution passes. Item 18, Planning and Zoning Committee, approval of petitions. Mr. Jekyll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Report to
report-
the honorable members of Jefferson County Board of Supervisors. Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee, having considered petitions to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, filed for public hearing held on August 15th, 2024, as required by law to Wisconsin statutes. Notice thereof having been given and being duly advised of the wishes of the town boards and persons in the areas affected, hereby makes the following recommendations. Approval of petitions as listed, dated this 26th day of August 2024, Blaine Paulson, Secretary. And with your, okay, I'm going to move on to ordinance number 2024-11, amending the official zoning map of Jefferson County, whereas Jefferson County Board of Supervisors has heretofore been petitioned to amend the official zoning map of Jefferson County, and whereas petitions as listed were referred to the Jefferson County Planning and Zoning Committee for public hearing on August 15th, and whereas the proposed amendments have been given due consideration by the Board of Supervisors in open session, now therefore be it ordained Jefferson County Board of Supervisors does amend the official zoning map as follows. Mr. Chair, I move for approval of this ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Jekyll. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Supervisor Richardson. Mr. Kennard.
I abstain for a potential conflict of interest.
Duly noted. Any questions, discussions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the resolution, was there opposed? One opposed. The resolution passes. Okay. Appointments by county board chair, item 19.
Nope, sir.
Oh, sorry, there's another resolution, I'm sorry.
Yep,
Item C.
we got your land information.
Resolution approving the 2025-2027 Jefferson County Land Information Plan.
Resolution number 2024-47. In order to qualify for the funding through the Wisconsin Land Information Program, the county must update its land information plan at least every 3 years. The updated 2025 through 2027 land information plan for Jefferson County was prepared by the Planning Development and Land Information Council with the input from numerous county departments. The purpose of Jefferson County Land Information Plan is to meet Wisconsin Land Information Program funding eligibility requirements necessary for receiving grants and retaining fees for land information services, and to plan for county and land information modernization in order to provide improved government services to county residents and businesses. The Wisconsin Land Information Program receives $7 for each document recorded by the Jefferson County Register of Deeds, which is used to find Wisconsin Land Information Program grants and program administration. In addition, the County Land Information Program retains $8 for each document recorded in the county Register of Deeds. The updated plan provides for a plan for how funds will be utilized to maintain and improve Jefferson County Land Information Program. The Land Information Council met on July 23 of 2024 and approved the update. Land Information Plan, the Planning and Zoning Committee met on its August 26, 2024 and recommended forwarding this resolution to the County Board for approval of the 25 through 27 Jefferson County Land Information Plan. Fiscal note, the Land Information Plan helped guide the land program expenses from 2025 through 2027. The Land Information Program is a non-tax levy program. No additional tax levy dollars will be used. Mr. Chairman, I move for adoption of this resolution.
Moved by Mr. Jekyll, second by Mr. Paulson. Questions? Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The resolution passes. Now, it takes me to item 19, appointments by County Board Chair. I hereby appoint Sheriff Travis Mays, local elected official representative, Captain Matthew Cantors, Transportation Representative, and Tracy Hamill for Emergency Management Representative to Local Emergency Planning Committee, LEPC, for an indeterminate term. I respectfully ask for your confirmation. Mr. Morris. Moved by Mr. Morris, second by Ms. Turville Heights. Any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, the appointments are made. Item 20, which is in addition to your original agenda, is appointments by County Administrator. Administrator Waymeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. By virtue of the authority vested in me under Section 59.18, Parent 2, Parent C of the Wisconsin State Statute, I respectfully request a confirmation of the following appointment: Ms. Pamela Abrahamson to the Human Services Board to fill an unexpired term ending November 1st, 2025. I respectfully request confirmation of this appointment.
To confirm.
Do I have a second? Second by Supervisor Coots. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The confirmation is made. Public comment of a general nature. I have Anita Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Anita Martin. We live at 261 Pinnacle Drive in Lake Mills. At the December 28th, 2023 County Planning and Zoning Committee meeting, the committee discussed a preliminary proposed draft of a solar energy systems ordinance. The minutes from that meeting referred to comments that a number of attendees, residents made. Concerns were voiced about including additional parameters such as noise limitations, specific setbacks, remediation aspects, erosion control measures, and drainage considerations regarding solar operations. The Planning and Zoning Committee briefly discussed the Solar Energy Systems Ordinance the following month at their January 29th, 2024 meeting. The meeting minutes state that Matt Zengel, Planning and Zoning Director, will meet with Corporation Counsel soon to discuss the ordinance. It doesn't look like the Planning and Zoning Committee or any other county committees have discussed the draft solar ordinance since the January meeting. A new large-scale solar facility is under consideration in the southern part of our county. It's my understanding it will involve a number of lips are getting stuck. Municipalities, including portions of the town of Whitewater, Jefferson County, as well as a portion of Walworth County. Please revisit the proposed solar energy systems ordinance and implement lessons learned from the other solar projects which have either been proposed or are in operation in Jefferson County, one of which is on its third construction delay, soon to be its fourth construction delay, and that is the same proposed developer for the Whitewater area solar project. Thank you.
Takes us to announcements. I just have the one announcement reminding you in October, we have two meetings on October 24th at 7 o'clock, and then our budget meeting, October 22nd, 2024, which we kind of use for cleanup of other things that overlap, so we don't have too long a budget meeting in November. So just a reminder. With that, any other announcements?
I think the one reminder is what Ms. Palm mentioned. If you are interested in helping with the employee appreciation lunch on October 3rd, please reach out to Tammy or Terry to volunteer. It's a pretty fun time, so come out and support the employees for all they do. So thank you.
Mr. Christensen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to remind everybody that Monday starts the Finance Committee's department budget hearings. And I have found that the opening presentation by County Administrator Waymeyer and by Department Director DeVries has really been educational and enlightening, and really helps you understand what's going on in the county better than any other presentation that I've heard generally. So I'm recommending that anybody who can either Zoom into that meeting or attend, and that includes the public, and that's my message. Thanks.
Supervisor Callen.
Just a reminder that this weekend is the last clean sweep event of the year, Friday from 3 to 5:30 and Saturday morning from 8 to 10. And it's in Watertown at the Streets Department. There's a wonderful sign right outside the front door here if you want more information. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Seeing none. We have a closed session. We will need a vote for this, roll call vote to go into closed session. Convene in closed section pursuant to section 19.851, parent C, Wisconsin statutes, consider the employment, compensation, or performance evaluation data of a county employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. I need a motion to go in closed session.
So moved.
So moved by Supervisor Paulson. Do I have second by Supervisor Jekyll? We need a roll call vote.
Supervisor Herbst?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Supervisor Winnicky?
Yes.
And I have asked, go ahead. Whenever you're done.
Supervisor Truax? Supervisor Kennard?
Yes.
Supervisor Jekyll?
Yes.
Okay. And I've asked our director of HR to remain in the room.